Hey guys, hope you're having a brilliant day. Hope everything's going fantastically well. It's been a bit of a while since I've done an actual video actually, and I've had a pretty brilliant week in the market. So I just thought I'd give back to the followers and how I managed to catch gold shorts, Aussie CAD shorts, Aussie USD CAD longs, and how I approached EURUSD for the signal that I dropped in a group. And funny how sometimes you pull out of specific trades due to fundamentals or price playing out anyway. So let's get right into the thick of things. I was actually short gold, reason being because of the fact that, as you can see, this liquidity low of this significant liquidity low of this significant level, where price managed to break market structure and close below that level of 1236.5. So price managed to close below that level and managed to retest the last bullish candle which pushed price lower. This key supply zone, where this was the last bullish candle which pushed price lower, this bearish order block, price managed to break market structure, coming back to its point of origin. As you can see, we raided this specific monthly high of 1282. Price managed to break above that significant level, immediately reject the order block. As you can see, price created a high, and then just created that fractal swing to push price a little bit lower. Order flow in the last few months was been pretty bearish. If you look at price's structure, you can see it's maintaining lower lows and lower highs and minor lower lows. And my downside target for gold shorts during that specific time was just the lows of each particular month. For example, this liquidity low was managed to get taken. But like I said, there's also this big liquidity void over here, which potentially could be filled within the next upcoming month. So we could get some massive selling pressure on gold towards the 1200 region. But as you can see at the moment, our order flow has been bearish for the past few months. And if we go even on the monthly open of the previous month of 1292. 1292, let me just 1292. You see we're below the monthly open. On the weekly now, and this is where I was looking for particular sells, and I was looking for areas of dynamic support and resistance just for me to expect the price to reject off these significant levels. So this is the weekly order block which I marked out, which is this level of the 1250 region or 1251 region as my ultimate targets for these particular shorts on gold. And as you can see, price managed to find resistance at this weekly order block, which is an EQ of the monthly bearish OB. So that's where price managed to come into EQ of that significant level and managed to reject aggressively. And as you can see, order flow has been bearish for the past few weeks, with the price creating a new lower low, creating below this significant low of 128.90. So price managed to create that new low, managed to pull back into price, and managed to reject back down. So price was acting as a key level of resistance on the monthly open. So what I did was last week is actually marked out the open of the candle, which were weekly open of 1286.80. So 1286, 1286.8. Price that's to do as we're below the monthly open, as we're below not only the monthly open, the weekly open. Price structure below highs and lower lows. Price retesting the EQ of the monthly order block, rejecting the weekly order block. Price creating lower highs and lower lows, anticipating with further potential bearish structure, creating further liquidity lows where the stops are resting below these key components of price of the 1266 region. This is where I was actually aiming for price. So if you wanted to see my signal, I can actually show you that. So as you can see, my actual entry came from, as you can see, the fact that price managed to maintain its new lower low. And this was the last bearish candle, which you see this level over here. This was the last bearish candle, which pushed price higher above this significant high. So that breaker level managed to hold as a key level of supply in that significant level. Price managed to bounce around that level before eventually selling off and create these equal lows of these potential stops that have been created. So let me mark out this specific level just to make things a bit more clear for you. As you can see, even order flow has been bearish, like I said before, through its lower highs and lower lows. So let me just get this a bit more cleaner for you. Our price creates a lower low, lower high, creates a new lower low, creates a new lower high, and now it's coming to that breaker key level of breaker resistance. At this last bearish candle, push price a little bit higher. So let me mark this entire level out. And as you can see, price managed to break structure towards the downside. Candle closed below this liquidity low of 1284.44. Price managed to retest that significant level and then managed to sell off. My ultimate target was a significant key low of 1266 region. So I was expecting price to raid that specific low, and that would have been the ultimate target, and that's exactly what it did. As you can see on H4, if you want to see where the entry was, it was a pretty simple entry. I just waited for price to get into the significant level. This was the last bullish candle to push price lower. Price was maintaining its bullish structure of higher highs and higher lows. This was my validation level. If it breaks above that significant level, and if I go down to the hourly, I'll show you the ultimate entry point. This was the order block that I literally entered off. So as you can see, you can have these significant key levels. I managed to come to EQ of the 4-hour block, and this was the last bullish candle which pushed price lower. As you can see, price managed to find resistance to that level. Just to, for example, just for you to be able to have like an understanding of price, you have a 30 pip stop, about 200 pip target, so it's a decent 6-hour trade. The thing is that was frustrating for me was the fact that FOMC was coming. So this is where price managed to raid this liquidity high and managed to sell off towards the downside. So it was a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit daunting in regards to taking these type of trades with these particular setups when there's high impact news coming along. So you always got to make sure you be smart with your profit taking beforehand. So I managed to secure majority of my position. So I was pretty happy knowing the fact I collapsed the lion's share of the move. So I was happy to be able to secure that profit based on gold shorts. And going to AUDCAD monthly, I was looking for shorts on AUDCAD. Reason being, as you can see with price, if you look at order flow of this particular pair, you can see that price has been very bearish. Let me sort that out again. That's cool. Price has been very, very bearish with its lower highs, lower lows. Price managed to stall at about this particular point. But what interested me was the fact that price managed to raid this particular monthly high. As you can see, this is May's candles April, March. So March's high managed to get raided and creating a fractal of 0.95630 level. Price managed to raid it, and I was heading towards the downside. As you can see, my ultimate target on price was the liquidity low of March. So the area of 0.93160, that's where I wanted price to go head towards. And the next liquidity low would be where the wicks are, where the sell stops are pending below this liquidity low of January of 92,200 level. And also this liquidity low for longer term targets of the low of 1st of September 2018, around them regions. So each liquidity low is where I'm expecting price to be able to take out. And as you can see over here, this was an up candle prior to a down move. This price managed to find resistance at this specific weekly order block. So price was managed to find resistance at the 95,600 region. So this supply zone, where you can see price has dipped into that level, created a weekly swing high fractal of that specific level, and managed to sell off. I'll go back to the monthly. I'm going to mark out the monthly open. So the monthly open of price was 94.98. 94.98. So price was below the weekly open, the monthly open, and also I managed to mark out the weekly open was 94.680. So 94.680. So as you can see, price managed to find resistance at this up candle prior to a down move. Price managed to maintain its structure of creating a lower high into that into that key resistance point, so that supply zone of that bearish or weekly bearish order block, and a 90 at the 96 region. Price managed to create the swing high fractal. We have a high, high, a low high, and if you want to see the fractal clearer, see how it raided the previous week's high, and then managed to sell off towards the downside. And each liquidity low was my target. So with me, I like taking minimum targets. So this is where I wanted to take profit, which was actually the 94. Let me see which liquidity low that is. The 94. I wanted the 94 region to get touched. So let me put the 94. You know what? That liquidity low. So let me go on a daily just so that's a little bit easier for us to be able to see. As you can see, price was in a very, very deep accumulation to rally, rated stops below this level. Price accumulated, expansion to the upside, retracement, and reverse to the upside. So, but with me, it was more of a thing where what made me understand and made me feel more comfortable with price was when we broke below the monthly open. We have a strong close below that key level of the 94,980 region. As you can see, we broken structure to the downside. Price created a new lower low. I was expecting a lower high entry. It was in the key level of resistance of this daily breaker as well. So as price managed to dip into the daily breaker, it kept on raiding each particular daily high of 95 region. It was just each 95 region was keep getting raided. But where did it come into? This key supply zone of this last bullish candle, which pushed price lower, this bearish order block on a daily. So price managed to dip into that level. And my target was this liquidity low. Just for target. So TP managed to get hit on AUDCAD, which I was pretty happy with. And as you can see, this was a last bearish candle which pushed price higher. My entry was straight off this 4-hour breaker. I was looking to take 2 entries. When price comes back into the breaker, I'll take 1 entry or this particular block. So price didn't come into this block, and I probably would have had better risk to reward, but I couldn't complain. So that's about what, a 17-16 pip stop for like a 90 pip target. So it's a nice, for example, 7 to 9 hour trade. So it just goes to show that there's capabilities for you to be able to take profits within this market. So not everything has to catch the lion's share of the move on a weekly or monthly. You can also make some fantastic risk to reward, even just chasing daily moves. So so price managed to break and smash straight through our target and come straight into the 94 region, just as I predicted, and it bounced off that significant level. So I was quite happy with that trade. So can't really complain, to be honest with you. What I'm also going to show you is also how I caught Aussie USDCAD longs. It's a bit weird for currency correlation for people to say, oh, Mustafa, why are you looking for what's the word called, longs on USDCAD if you're short Aussie CAD? The Dixie was actually giving me the inclination that I was looking for longs on USDCAD. So as you can see, USDCAD on a monthly, if you look at order flow on this particular pair, you can see it has been very, very bullish. Price managed to create a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So the next point of where I'm expecting price to head towards is this monthly high. So the monthly highs of this is May, April, March, February. So it's around January, December's high. So around significant level of 136 or the 1.36650 region. So still got another 200 or so pips to go. So why did I manage to look for longs of the specific trade? As you can see, above this key little minor pivot level we had going on here, where price managed to break above that point of resistance, retest it, and we managed to close above this significant liquidity high. So as you can see, that 1.33860, price managed to close above that significant high, and then managed to, this is a last bearish candle which pushed price higher. So we came back into this key level of demand, into this bullish or monthly bullish order block. As you can see, it raided January's low. This is May, April. This is May, April, March, February, January. So January's low managed to get raided. It's funny how price just goes from liquidity to liquidity. So the low of 1.31185, price managed to raid that significant low. My ultimate targets was this significant high. I should be holding this trade, but the problem was the fundamentals of FOMC caught me off guard a little this week. So I was a little bit more conservative with taking my profits during that particular week. But as you can see, we was at a time we was above the monthly open as well, the 133428 region. So let me use that as a dynamic key level of support and resistance. As I can see on a weekly, price managed to find support at this up candle prior to the down move, and this down candle pushed price higher. You see how price managed to find support at the order block and also find support at the EQ of the breaker, of this weekly breaker, and managed to find support at the 1.30820 region. So around this significant level, price managed to dip into that level. And what's it doing? It's constantly breaking structure towards the upside. So as you can see, it's breaking structure towards the upside. What does that indicate? What does that show the what's the word called market makers? I want to push price a little bit higher, creating a higher high, the expansion towards the upside, right after the accumulation of the price closed above the 1.3375 region. And if I mark out this last bearish candle, which pushed price higher right before the candle closed, price managed to accumulate above that significant level right before the expansion. My ultimate target was this weekly order block above the January's monthly high. So the targets actually was 135,650 region. So as you can see, price is actually still finding support of this weekly order block, this down candle which pushed price higher. So let me go on a daily. As you can see, on a daily, we managed to break structure above this significant high of 134,510. So price closed above that high, created a higher high, and then as you can see, this is the last bearish candle which pushed price higher. So it came back into the daily block, and what did it do? It raided the previous day's low of 133,800 region. So price managed to raid that significant daily low. So price managed to take out that significant daily low. Where did it come in towards? It came into two levels. This is the last bearish candle which pushed price higher. So you see the entry? Awesome. Practically barely any drawdown whatsoever. As you can see, invalidation levels was this block over here. So you see how price came into it, about a 15 pip stop, about 100 pip target. That's a sweet 10-hour trade. My ultimate targets was actually this significant high over here, this weekly high. This is my ultimate targets, but FOMC, I managed to take profit around this region, only simply because of the fact that I just wanted to literally just secure my profits and be on my way and enjoy the weekend. An early weekend actually. 135,200 was actually the ultimate target. I think we could still probably get there, to be fair, but it just depends on what the Dixie is saying this week. But that's how I managed to catch USDCAD longs. So everything has to be on an intricate level. So I was holding price up until these key levels. And on EURUSD was a very, very interesting pair. I wanted to short EURUSD. As you can see, order flow has been very bearish, with his prices managed to create in its lower highs and lower lows. And as you can see, price creating its lower highs and lower lows, you want to be able to look for shorts. Was high time frame premise is better than lower time frame premise. So where would my lower time frame targets be? You would aim for liquidity, where the sell stops are printed. So the low of the previous months would be an ultimate target. So the low of April, which was created of the 1.11125 level. Yeah, that should be okay. 125 level. That's where I was expecting price to go towards. Let me see if we're above or below the monthly open. The monthly open, our price was 1.12130, so we're way beyond that level. So as you can see at the moment, price order flow has been bearish with lower highs, lower lows. We have liquidity low of the previous month of April of the 1 to 1.11102 region. So we're currently below the monthly open of 1.12130. If you head towards the weekly, you can see that price managed to break structure towards the downside, closing below the liquidity low of 1.11762. So the last bullish candle which pushed price lower. Price managed to raid the previous week's high of, and it was also considered as also the 1.1262620 region. Price managed to raid that significant low, come into EQ of the weekly block. So if I mark this out, price managed to raid that significant level. This was the last bullish candle which pushed price lower for me, and also we have this down candle which pushed price higher. So these are the two levels I'm expecting price to be able to sell off as. I managed to send out a signal actually, to be fair, on this specific trade. Only one of my group caught it. Only the Lord knows how he didn't get stopped out. It's actually very interesting. But let me check out what the let me see if price managed to break, well, retest the weekly open. The weekly open was 1.11. So this was actually our target. So we can also use it as dynamic levels of SNR, but also use it as price targets to know where we can expect a reaction of price. And as you can see, price managed to hit our target, but managed to reject immediately straight up. But as you can see, it came into the last bullish candle which pushed price lower, and price managed to come into the 1.12360 region. Price managed to dip into their super liquidity, and here was my entry. You know, I would have got stopped out, to be fair, if I didn't cut the position, because FOMC was being a bit savage to me. So I had probably like a 20 pip stop. I remember I told my group of individuals to have it towards the 127 regions, just so they wouldn't get stopped out. And it must have ran down about a good 100 pips. And it just goes to show the fact that when you know what is happening in price, you just need to have your stop losses at key levels, such as invalidation levels. And it just helps you feel a bit more comfortable with you understanding the principles of price. So it just goes to show also you understand what you need to look for in the markets and how you can be able to, for example, use them to your advantage. And once you can apply a certain amount of principles with stuff like the monthly open, points of liquidity, certain blocks and breakers, supply and demand zones, pivot levels, dynamic levels, support and resistance, it's just being able to apply just a recipe just for you to be able to understand what type of things you need to look for in a market. But I hope this video has been beneficial to you. This is the weekly recap. So gold managed to catch me some beautiful amount of pips, so I can't really complain. So from the majority of every single one of them was given us signals, so it's good to know the fact that you literally grab about a good couple of wins under your belt, and onwards and upwards. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any trade related questions in regards to my mentorship campaign, or if you have any type of trading related questions, don't ever hesitate to call me, to message me on Instagram at YoungTradeKing, and I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a brilliant week in the market.